We in. What up? What up?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Chris and Kyle Show. We're talking about Blue Chips, the movie chosen by your brother Keith for winning the NCAA Tournament Bracket Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Even though really no one in that challenge did good at all, if you really think about it.
True.
Like, I think the most anyone in that bracket challenge had was like one team from the Final Four, right?
Right.
Yeah. It's okay though. We watched a pretty.
Did all four of us? No, you were the only person who didn't.
I did not
Duke.
pick Duke. I picked North Carolina though.
But that didn't do anything.
Mm-mm. And I picked them to win over Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go well. But it's a pretty. The movie's pretty relevant to the topic.
Blue Chips.
Blue Chips, yeah.
Well, it's pretty relevant to college basketball, but I think that it's pretty topical.
Pretty topical to the modern sports sensibilities.
Yeah.
So Blue Chips is a film starring Nick Nolte as Coach Pete Bell, also starring Penny Hardaway and Shaq, and other people I don't really care about. Those are the only ones that really matter.
Let's get right into it. So I find this like such a weird combination of like a movie having so much foresight, not just with the NCAA like scandals of paying athletes and stuff like that, but like race relations and shit like that, and like the little things that Shaq will say.
Shaq, yeah, Shaq had a really good character in this movie. Neon Bordeaux, crazy
but like,
name.
The simultaneous
this movie was made 25 years ago.
Yeah,
94,
25 years ago, but the simultaneous existence of it having so much foresight, but also being so bad. Like it's not. It's not a bad movie.
It's not bad. Yeah,
it's not a bad
you're
movie.
being too harsh if you call it bad.
But it's not good. It's just meh. It's pretty meh.
Yeah. There's some good stuff.
Uh-huh.
You know what? The basketball's great. The basketball's great.
It's actual basketball.
You said it while we were watching it. Apparently, they got real basketball players to basically just play games, and they filmed it.
Yeah.
Do that more, sports movies. You know how I have a horrible pet peeve of like bad sports in sports movies, and it really drives me nuts in football because like it's so like if you go like I love Friday Night Lights. It's like one of my favorite shows of all time. Yeah. But the amount of just unrealistic truck sticking happening in Friday Night Lights drives me bananas. It's so bad. Ugh. But yeah, the basketball playing is great because they got a bunch of real basketball players. I mean, Shaq is catching lobs from Penny, like in real life. It's dope.
So like when you see like
and they got real basketball coaches, which I thought was cool too. Like I like seeing like Rick Pitino and Bobby Knight like do the huddles and stuff, and I was like,
although there's like really lot of times like a lot of basketball dialogue that like Nick Nolte will say in this movie, and I'm just like,
what, Nick Nolte?
I just gotta like get skeptical, you know.
I don't know enough about basketball or high level basketball to know what's good or not.
It just sounds like someone trying to sound like a basketball coach. You know what I mean? Like the fucking speech that he gives where he's like, they're going to adjust, and when they adjust, this is like what we're going to do. Like it was just like a really like generic, you know, like, and then they will cut to like Bobby Knight, like talking about basketball, and it's like, oh, okay, that sounds like a basketball coach because he's an actual basketball coach.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of like weirdly interesting thing, like the idea of actually just having basketball games and just filming real basketball. Fucking great decision. Yeah. Obviously, like that turned out really well. Probably my favorite part about this movie is fucking Shaq.
Yeah, he's the best part for sure.
In his
but like we know in hindsight of this film, we know how charismatic of a person Shaq is because it's 2019.
But it's weird,
and he's been doing it for 25 years.
The seeds of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can see how just likable and charismatic he is. Just all the scenes where he just leans into a room and smiles. And he's got like these weird philosophical lines he throws out. It's just he's an interesting character.
Yeah.
But then there's like other stuff.
Other stuff.
Yeah. There's like the weird thing with his ex-wife throughout the whole movie, and it's like kind of weird. Why? I don't know.
It's just
there's a like very shitty villain. The villain sucks. The booster guy.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as cool as Happy Hogan, John Favreau.
Did you like?
He's like comically evil, like with the shit he says.
Did it really feel like the spine of this story was really fleshed out to you? You know what I mean? Like so you like you have a character, they're trying to achieve something, like, and it's also kind of weird with modern day sensibilities. Maybe it doesn't translate as much, like, but the whole like it's hard to fabricate a situation where he's supposed to be feeling bad about breaking the rules when those rules are so stupid anyways.
And he admits that.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of a weird double-edged sword catch-22 he's stuck in, right? But like the thing that we know about the character is that he's a good person, right? His intentions are good.
Yeah.
And he has like this weird old school love of the game thing, you know, the purity of the game, which is a very old school idea in all sports where it's you do things for the purity of the game. Whereas now in 2019, that's basically gone because of what sports have become. You know, the people still love the game of all different sports, but the idea that it's like evil to make money off the game is basically gone. People who think like that are behind the times at this point.
Yeah.
And so like he says to the kids after that last game, and he's like, you know, we broke the rules and the rules don't make sense, but I believe in the rules. It's like this weird catch-22 thing.
Which, like, actually I like that part.
It's an interesting dynamic for a character to have.
This movie like just lingers on certain fucking like monologues for so long.
Very long. That opening scene, like the idea is funny, right? The coach getting mad at his team at halftime, and he yells at them, and then he storms out, comes back in, yells some more, storms out, comes back in and talks very calmly. Like the rule of threes, he comes back in 3 times.
Yeah.
It's like a funny idea, but it's so long.
It's so
it just
long,
keeps
and it's
going.
and it's not like executed in the best way possible.
Yeah,
where,
it's like clunky.
It actually
It's
makes
clunky.
you laugh. Like I'm like when you watch it, you're laughing more at the idea of it than the actual scene itself.
Yeah, exactly. Not that Nick Nolte is not, you know, selling out. He's doing his best.
Yeah, definitely. Which is also kind of weird. The fact that Nick Nolte is just like really selling out for this movie. That's just kind of me.
Yeah. But he's like the only one. I mean, he has to carry this movie for one. He's in basically every scene. Is he in literally every scene? I don't know if there's a single scene that he's not a part of.
I don't think so, dude.
That's crazy.
This is also kind of super weird because this movie was fucking directed by Billy Friedkin. Do you know who that is?
I looked before, but I, forgot.
Oscar-winning director.
4.
Dog, he directed French Connection.
Is that the Oscar?
Exorcist.
French Connection?
Hold on. Sha-la-la-la-la-la.
Sha-la-la-la-la-la, my oh my.
He won it for French Connection, was nominated for The Exorcist.
The Exorcist was nominated for an Oscar for directing? Interesting.
Exorcist is a good movie, dude. You know who's supposed to
I believe you.
directed The Exorcist from the jump?
Rachel Nichols?
No. Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose is supposed to.
Paul Pierce.
Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick.
For real?
Yeah. Supposed
interesting.
to direct The Exorcist.
I mean, he has an iconic horror film.
Yeah. But Blue Chips.
Blue Chips. So we haven't really explained what the moral quandary of this story is that Nick Nolte plays a college basketball coach who has traditionally run a very good program. He's won a lot. But he's in a downturn over the last few years where his teams are getting worse and worse because they're falling behind in recruiting because he refuses to cheat. He refuses to pay players under the table to come play for his school. He wants to run a clean program. He believes in the rules. Now, it's weird because later on in the movie, he admits that the rules are dumb, which we now the movement is stronger now than it's ever been to overcome the NCAA and, come to the realization that the fact that these players are generating billions of dollars for colleges and they don't see any of it outside of quote unquote free education, which we also know isn't even a real thing because of the things they're not allowed to pursue as student athletes. But this is like 25 years ago, and he's kind of, very much in the prime of that traditional idea that the sport is pure and playing for money makes it in some way unpursued. College has this weird pedestal that people used to, and still some people do, hold college sports to. And that's sort of what he's trying to overcome throughout the movies. he wants to get back to being a great program, and then there's these 3 blue chip prospects that he's recruiting, and they all want something except for Shaq. Shaq wants to prove the world that he's smart. I don't really know. He calls things racist a lot.
Well, like,
or not racist, but like culturally biased.
Well, that's like one of the like really surprising things about this movie is that it's like so like subtly progressive in a lot of ways.
It's very progressive with the characters.
Yeah, well, yeah, like and a lot of their ideologies, like just the fact of Nick Nolte being like, yeah, like I understand the rules are fucked up.
See, the problem with that is
25 years ago.
He says it so late in the movie. Like throughout the entire movie, like I was like watching, I was like, I understand like Nick Nolte's character is a good person and he loves basketball and he loves his players.
Right.
But until the very end of the movie, you don't get that from him, that he actually realizes the rules suck.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole movie, you kind of think that he's very like stands firm in the idea that these players should not be being paid because they're college athletes or whatever.
Yeah.
He very much believes in the pure program idea and things like that. But not until the very end does he reveal that he has an understanding of the rules being, not great.
Yeah, but him as well as Shaq's character, like there's one time when he's getting tutored by Nick Nolte's wife.
Ex-wife.
Ex-wife. And she says something about she's starting off the tutoring session with like geography,
Asking about geography.
and he like answers like all of the questions like immediately, like
Wrong.
right off the bat. Huh?
Wrong.
He answered it wrong.
Yeah, that was the bit. The bit was that she asked him really easy questions and he purposely answered them wrong.
Yeah.
And then when she bet him money, he said like the entire geography right. He was fucking with her.
Yeah. Okay.
He was pretending to be stupid. And
But
then
he was
like,
eventually right.
And then he was like, "You're a racist because you're asking me these dumb questions."
He knew that he was
Yeah.
wrong, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. But that, yeah, and like he was like saying that the SATs are culturally biased and stuff.
And
like
then he
that.
purposely did horrible on them and stuff like that. Yeah.
Some wild
He wears
outfits.
amazing shorts.
Wild outfits.
He had amazing clothes.
Yeah.
And his name is Neon Bordeaux. He's an insane
There's
character.
some crazy names.
Yeah.
Ricky Rowe,
Ricky Rowe, Butch McRae,
Butch McRae. Yeah.
Neon Bordeaux.
There's some weird like racial shit in this movie though. Like specific lines where I'm just like, man, that's like really like. So there's when Nick Nolte goes to meet Butch McRae in the beginning of the movie, there's like a black dude that he's friends with, and the black dude kind of like announces like all of these recruiters, head coaches, and shit are waiting in the office at
The
school.
priest guy, the preacher guy.
Yeah. And the preacher guy comes in.
He does that weird auction bit.
And he does that weird auction bit, and he brings up how that his real name is Butch, like, and he might as well have freckles and shit. And I was like, that's racist as fuck.
Well,
like,
then there's the outwardly racist farm guy later.
Yeah.
When he's like, "We don't think much of Southern Baptists." Like, he says some crazy shit.
Well, and his son says,
He literally says, I'm a white
blue chip, and
Blue
I think,
chip,
I believe that I deserve.
and I believe I
300 or
deserve
30 grand.
payment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
he says,
freaky.
as a white
blue chip recruit.
Uh-huh.
It's freaky.
Yeah.
Those
like they should be
those
fleshing
those French lick Indiana sensibilities,
It
baby.
just seems like they have like such interesting like sort of subtle things like that.
That would have
you
been
know what I
more
mean?
interesting to explore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a lot of stuff like that.
They
like
they don't go into the supporting characters enough in this movie.
No.
This movie is more about barreling through the story and getting to what I think was like when whoever wrote this movie, I don't know, but like they were like the scene they wanted was that final press conference. They wanted Nick Nolte giving what in real life would be an all-time great press conference. You know, like we've got playoffs. We've got, if you want to crown them, then crown their asses. We've got amazing press. If somebody did what he did in real life, it'd be fucking bananas.
But yeah, it would have been nice to see like, you know, what is Neon, you know, doing with this money? Like we got a little bit of that with Butch, like he was like homesick and shit. Like, but that
barely.
that was only for like the fact that
that
like,
was
he
to
needed
basically
to be, like
trigger the coach into like his downward spiral more than anything.
Yeah.
And then when he found out about this player that he loved dearly, that he recruited and he'd worked on for 4 years, and found out that he had shaved points off of a game to they still won the game, but they lost the spread to make money one time.
Yeah.
It was all just part of his downward spiral.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that a little bit. Yeah, but it would have been nice.
But
to
we don't
flesh out
explore
those
how these
supporting
things
characters a little
affect
bit
the
more.
supporting characters. Really.
Yeah,
I would have loved to see more Shaq.
Hell yeah.
Loved
Or
it.
Shaq and Penny together, like them rooming together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah, like
but
a
just
good scene where they're just having a conversation about, because like the whole thing with both of their characters were like, I don't really know if I want to go to college. I want to see what it's like, see if it's worth it. Shaq literally was like, I want to see if it's bullshit. Why not have a scene where they're in their room talking about the college experience?
Yeah.
And
the
what,
college experience, the conflicts of like taking money for playing basketball and stuff.
Well, that's the thing is like I think it would have been an interesting dichotomy to do that because the players probably wouldn't care.
Right.
I don't think that 90% of players care about quote unquote cheating, breaking the rules, because they're not laws. They're just NCAA rules.
Yeah.
These aren't laws they're breaking
And
of
even
the country or anything.
Even the French lick daddy.
Yeah. That dude mustache.
He was like, they're not my
farmer.
rules.
Yeah, he literally said that. Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been interesting for them to flesh that out. For them to like also like that, it would have been interesting because obviously like this kid Ricky Rose is kind of a racist. So it would have been interesting to like see
have him and a Shaq have a conflicting sensibilities
Yeah.
and stuff, and see if that graded on the growing the team more, right? Like seeing him have to be like there's like a montage where he's like coaching. It's fine. It's like he's coaching. He's doing all these things on the court.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it have been more interesting to see him have to do like the deeper things of coaching, like actually dealing with player personalities and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That'd be way more interesting. It would have been interesting to have those more character development from the supporting characters of the film.
and conflict between the characters themselves.
Yeah.
And it would have aided in the idea of that, like, okay, just because you have blue chip players doesn't mean that you instantly have
So let me drag this into a movie that I fucking love. And we've talked about, I love Glory Road. I love that movie unashamedly.
That's the one
And that's
with,
a huge thing in that movie. There's so much conflict between the players and the characters.
That's the one with Denzel Washington, right?
Nope.
Samuel Jackson?
Nope.
Matthew McConaughey?
What's the guy's name? You literally, in my head, that actor, the dude that was just in that Jesus movie, what's his name? Lucas something? Lucas Hedges? Is that?
Yeah, you got
is
it.
That,
I think
in my
so.
head, his name is Don Haskins. That's like the only thing that I care about. But yeah, like in that movie, there's so much character development among the team and the coach. So like it's not like it's something you should do. It makes the movie better when you flesh out more of the characters.
Yeah.
And that movie's dealing with almost entirely racial conflict because it's a story about the first college basketball team to start an entire lineup of African American players in like the 60s when people were hella racist.
Yeah, but like Blue Chips doesn't fall into that sort of trope where like Glory Road, Remember the Titans kind of have that trope where like, through winning they're sort of overcoming.
The Tiger Woods effect that we were talking about last week, where your personal conflicts are dealt with on the court and your triumph is experienced simultaneously.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that at all.
Yeah.
If anything, he does something him being Nick Nolte does something that he believes is wrong, deals with the downward spiral of guilt, then does a really good job of coaching a basketball game. He out-coaches Bobby Knight, and then he feels even worse about it, and then he confesses. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's a weird arc. It's not very like it's not like a uplifting.
It's not uplifting, no. What do you think the moral of this movie is? Like,
don't cheat. I think that how we talk.
Like, was this movie trying to say whether or not was this movie trying to say something 25 years ago about the rules being bad? Because wouldn't that be more interesting to see like how the rules affected high school kids and the way it worked? Like he mentioned in his speech when he was like, "There's a 10-year-old kid out there who can dunk, and next week there's going to be 10 agents all trying to pay him and all the
right."
And like isn't that more interesting? The way that it like the culture affects the people within it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's I think for being made 25 years ago, it was like you said earlier. It was very progressive in what it was thinking. But I feel like there's a version of this movie that can address way more things way more eloquently.
And just be way more compelling.
But also film basketball scenes in a similar manner.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Because that was great.
Why? Do you know another basketball movie that does that?
I don't know. There's another sports thing I can think of that does that. That's not choreographed. Mike. Does Like Mike do it? Yeah, I mean, obviously, Lil Bow Wow can actually dunk.
That's fuck. You just fucking. You can't step on my.
You said it. Line, you said it in less words than me. Yeah, because Glory Road definitely doesn't. Glory Road's like more like the action is more cinematic. There's like they do like the weird the news or the camera clicking on big moments, and I fucking love it.
That's pretty.
We're cool. We're like Derek Luke is like he's falling into the stands and he's saving the ball, and then Big Daddy David Lattin is fucking dunking that. Oh my god, it gets me so hype. Dude.
So are you about to watch Glory Road?
I might. You never know. Like... I don't know. How long till Avengers? Yeah, I got a few hours.
It comes out tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I mean,
Avengers ends tonight.
Technically, it came out, I guess, last night for like, special people. People that could get those advanced screenings.
Right.
But, so there's spoilers on the internet.
I might see it like tomorrow morning.
If you can find a ticket.
I'll sneak in.
How dare you?
I'll buy a ticket.
You literally get free tickets.
I'll buy a ticket for, I don't know, Secret Life of Pets 2. Is that still out?
Probably. I don't know. Get one for like Dumbo.
I saw, what was it? Have you seen the fucking advertisement for Secret Life of Pets 2 with Ben Simmons and his dog? And they're both wearing
pajamas. It's like a thing where they're doing it with like different NBA players where they have their pet and they're just like cuddling.
Yeah.
And he's got his dog in like Sixers pajamas.
Reading his dog a book.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. That makes me. That's
wait. Does Clay have one of those? How could you do that and not do one with Clay and Rocco?
That advertisement makes me way more uncomfortable than the Clay commercial with him.
Dude, that commercial's so weird.
And the dude from The Wire.
The commercial is so weird.
I know
Michael K. Williams.
I know what it's from, so it doesn't make me.
Yeah, I had no idea that was inspired by something. So when I first saw that, I was like, "This is the most."
It's an obscure reference.
This is the most whack commercial, dude.
It's an obscure reference for sure.
Hey, would you recommend watching Blue Chips to viewers?
If you like Shaq, if you're a Magic fan, I would say maybe.
Dude, it's like a mid '90s, early 2000s Magic fan's wet dream.
Well, I think that this is I might watch this documentary. I'm gonna see if Keith can loan me his ESPN Plus shit, so I can watch the That Magic Moment or whatever it's called. This Magic Moment, which is the 30 for 30 on Penny and Shaq.
Their Magic team?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's probably a good one.
Yeah, it's a good double feature.
Yeah, I would say, if you like sports movies, if you like...
I wouldn't even say like...
I think if someone likes sports movies, they would enjoy watching this.
But it doesn't have like the trappings of a normal sports movie.
Yeah, but I still think a sports movie fan would enjoy it.
If you like sports movies, you should watch Glory Road.
Fuck yeah, you should.
Like Glory Road.
Watch Glory Road over this movie any day of the week.
Right.
Very cookie.
Would you recommend Glory Road over Remember the Titans?
Dude, I told you, I don't even remember what happens in Remember the Titans.
You don't remember the Titans?
All I know is that Ryan Gosling is a liability at corner. Yeah. I couldn't even remember if it was Denzel or not.
You should too.
No, that will live forever. When you play a role, that role lives on forever. That version of Ryan Gosling will always be a liability at corner. Now, if I put him out there, he'd probably still suck, but he'd be way better looking.
Nobody was attracted to Ryan Gosling back then.
Back then, no, he wasn't hot yet.
Nobody was like, oh.
He hadn't been in Crazy Stupid Love
yet. Let me
get
a piece of that. Yeah.
Where he was overtly sexualized. I also really like that movie. Watch that movie over Blue Chips, too.
Crazy Stupid Love?
Yeah, the movie's great.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Blue Chips.
Hey, you know what we're doing next week?
What are we doing?
We're going to do Avengers Endgame next week.
Oh, nice.
So avoid spoilers, until
Marvel
next
movie.
Week. That's not true. There's
That's
literally
to exist.
There's literally
they've
at least 3 or 4 other ones that are announced.
They've had a good run.
Yeah, he's lying to you.
It's Endgame.
What?
It's the end of the game.
No, it's... I know you're doing a bit. I'm not going to fight with you because you're doing a bit and it's dumb.
Yeah, but you're supposed to play along with the bit.
No, I don't want to.
God,
this isn't an improv class. I'm not going to yes and you.
Looks like it might be the
end
game of that bit.
No, shut up, you. No, shut up. Yo, had to surprise bartend yesterday. I wasn't supposed to, but our bartender had to go home for some reason.
Right.
And a dude came in and sat at the bar, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go see a movie." So I was like, "What are you gonna see?" He was like, "I'm gonna see Shazam." And I was like, "Oh, I saw that. It was pretty good. It's a good time." And he was like, "Oh, well, blah 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 blah." And we were talking about superhero movies came up, and he was like, like, how would you explain the Marvel movies to someone who like didn't know them, to like make them think they were good? And I was like, I mean, at the most basic, they're just a really fun time with fun characters. That's like the most basic, like they're just fun. You know what I mean? And he was like, I just never really vibed with them. And I was like, okay, I mean, sure thing, that's cool. And he was like, I feel like compared to the comics, they're just not as good and they're too simple. And I was like, I came back and I was like, yeah, but I think you could make the argument that a lot of times comics try too hard to be complicated and they can become really convoluted, and they can have this weird cross match between like trying to both ignore and keep continuity at the same time, and it becomes this weird thing. And I think that one of the great things about the MCU is that it's its own thing that said we're going to be informed by the source material but not adherent to the source material. And I think that's a strength of the MCU. And then the dude was like, have you seen Venom? And I was like, oh, you're this kind of person. In my head. And I was like, yeah, I saw Venom. And he was like, I thought that movie was fucking awesome. And I was like, yeah, not me. And that's when I knew I couldn't trust that guy. And I almost was like, you might not. I was like,
who's this person?
I don't know, some dude.
You can get his number so I can hang out with him?
No, shut the fuck up.
Maybe my new best friend?
No. But like part of me.
Chris, a new guy.
Part of me was like.
Gotta wrap this up.
Yeah. Part of me was like, wanted to be like, you're not going to like Shazam if that's your vibe that you go for. Right. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up before we run out of room here. Yeah. Chris and Kyle Show. Find ChrisMichaelstott.com on his website for scripts. Chris Michael Stott on Instagram. Find me, DavinWell25. Twitter and Instagram. Find the show, The Chris and Kyle Show, on Facebook, on Instagram, on the YouTubes, on all podcasting platforms. tcaks Pod on Twitter. We will be back with a poll for next month, probably around like Monday. We'll have to look and see what movies are coming out next month and see what we're going to put on it. And I just did that in record time. Let's get out of here. We out.
We out. Stay weird.